Since making the jump from fantasy to 40k, Be'lakor has been known for leading combined armies of mortals and demons into battle, typically as the army's sole leader. The Shadow Legion detachment lets you make a pot of this chaos soup in an army where you can combine demons and chaos space marines without losing the army rules for either, and without having to use the rules for allies. It's a potent detachment which gives you a host of new options and exciting abilities without forcing you to give up too much. We'd like to thank Games Workshop for providing us with a preview copy of these rules for review purposes. For a written companion to this video, head on over to goonhammer.com, link in the description. Detachment Rule: First Prince of Chaos. This detachment has not one but 6 rules to work with, each of which affects a different set of units in the army. Murderer's Cowl. Shadow Legion Khorne units in your army can shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which they advance. Penumbral Puppetry. Attacks against Shadow Legion Tzeentch units in your army subtract 1 from their hit rolls. Gloam Rot. When an attack targets a Shadow Legion Nurgle unit in your army, if the strength of that attack is more than the unit's toughness, it gets -1 to wound. Shadow's Caress. Opponents cannot use the Fire Overwatch stratagem to shoot at Shadow Legion Slaanesh units in your army. Disciples of Be'lakor. Shadow Legion Undivided units in your army have the Dark Pax army rule, even though their faction isn't Heretic Astartes. Be'lakor automatically passes the leadership test for his Dark Pax. Shadow Legion Heretic Astartes models also have Deep Strike. Be'lakor and Heretic Astartes units in your army gain the Shadow Legion and Undivided keywords. Legiones Daemonica units in your army gain the Shadow Legion keyword. First off, this is an amazing slate of abilities, with something worthwhile for everyone. Advance and Charge on Khorne is amazing, Nurgle and Tzeentch buffs are solid durability upgrades, and the Slaanesh buff is exactly the right level of annoying. The Nurgle buff is very good, but it pushes you to run smaller demons. It's outstanding on Nurglings and great on Plague Bearers, but admittedly less useful on a Great Unclean one, where you're not generally going to need to worry about too many strength 14 and up attacks. You may have noticed that Disciples of Be'lakor mentions Heretic Astartes. The big draw of this detachment is being able to take Chaos Marines in your army with the Thralls of the First Prince rule. Speaking of Thralls of the First Prince, when mustering your army, you can't include any Demon Princes or Epic Hero units except for Be'lakor, but you can include the following Heretic Astartes units. This includes all your flavors of Chaos Lord and Sorcerer, Masters of Possession, Chosen, Chaos Terminators, Damned units, Havocs, Legionaries, Possessed, Raptors, and Warp Talons. Taking Chaos Space Marine units without losing Dark Pax is a great upgrade to the Demon's army that helps cover some of your most glaring holes, such as having cheaper melee infantry who can operate as MSU squads. Cultists are a cheaper sticky objective option than anything you get in Demons, while a 5-man unit of Legionaries with a Chaos Lord is one of the game's most efficient fighting units, and great for stealing objectives with their 2 OC. The biggest downside here is that you don't get any vehicles or other epic heroes, but who needs a Rhino when you can deep strike the entire army and use Be'lakor's aura to stop your more fragile units from being shot. These 4 enhancements can go on any character in your army, making them extremely flexible. Leaping Shadows gives the Bearer's unit a 9-inch scout move, which combos extremely well with your Khorne ability to advance and charge. Yeet your Bloodthirster or a pack of Possessed up the board and get that first turn charge. You want this in every army you build. Mantle of Gloom is kind of a dud, reducing the OC of an enemy unit within engagement range by 1. It could help flip an objective, but the other options here are way more useful. Fade to Darkness lets you pick up the Bearer's unit after they destroy an enemy unit in the fight phase, provided they're not still in engagement range of something else. Have your Bloodthirster massacre something, dip, and rapid ingress next turn, or have a Chaos Lord and his Legionaries clear an objective and rapid ingress for free the next round. It's got tons of utility and is another must-take. Malice Made Manifest rolls a die and does a few mortal wounds at the start of the fight phase. Some extra chip damage is never a bad thing, but it doesn't really combo with any rules to make it especially exciting. 4 of the stratagems in this set give you an extra bonus to units aligned to a specific god, while the other 2 are more focused on Heretic Astartes units and they let you pick 2 units, 1 Heretic Astartes and 1 Legiones Daemonica to gain the effect. Spiteful Demise has you roll a die and cause some mortal wounds to surrounding units when one of your units is destroyed, with a bonus if they're Slaanesh. It's not amazing, but it's a cute way to do some damage or finish off a unit your dudes couldn't quite kill. Channeled Wrath gives you unit Lance in the fight phase and an extra point of AP if they're Khorne. This is great, even if the Bladed Horns on Juggernauts already have Lance. This is key for having your Marines punch up or getting your Blood Crushers to AP 3. Death Denied heals 3 wounds and brings back a dead non-character model on a Tzeentch unit. Bringing back a Terminator or Flamer is pretty good, and 1 command point for 3 wounds back on a Soul Grinder is a nice trade. Encroaching Darkness picks a Marine unit and a Demon unit that both arrived from reserves this turn, and it gives both of their shooting attacks ignores cover for the phase. It's tricky to find where this is actually going to be worth using. Flamers already ignore cover, and you're rarely going to want to deep strike something as big as a Soul Grinder. You could use it on deep striking Havocs, but that's probably not the best use for them. Shade Path debuffs an enemy charge by 2 inches, and if they're charging a Nurgle unit, they have to take a Battle Shock test too. It's a great way to protect your backfield from deep striking charges, and it's the kind of thing where your opponent may not even try to charge if they know you have it. It's a great psychological tool to deter charges, but keeping 2 command points on hand for this one is gonna be tough, especially when you're firing off Channeled Wrath every turn. Binding Shadow is a typical uppy-downy stratagem, but it grabs both a Marine and a Demon unit. Picking up and dropping down 2 units at a time is massive, and it's an amazing way to force your opponents to continually reckon with your ability to drop into the backfield even late in the game. The biggest thing Chaos Marines bring to Demons is cheap MSUs. Cultists alone are worth their weight in gold here, giving the army a 50-point unit of goobers that can sticky objectives and throw grenades, replacing Plague Bearers as your go-to backfield objective holder for much cheaper. Likewise, Legionaries are a unit that can trade up against a number of targets and can be especially dangerous when paired with a Chaos Lord. A 5-model unit with an attached Lord with the Fade to Darkness enhancement can kill an enemy unit in melee, drop back into reserves, then free stratagem back onto the table with rapid ingress during the following opponent's turn, rinsing and repeating as often as you'd like. It's a wild combo that gives you a lot of utility and a deadly unit that can only be interacted with via Overwatch. Advance and charge on Khorne Demons is a huge benefit, and they're by far the biggest winners of this detachment. Having a Bloodthirster or big unit of Blood Crushers able to easily make turn 1 charges is huge, and it's even easier if you combine it with the Scout's 9-inch enhancement to get that extra jump early on. Fleshhounds are also great in this detachment, and getting free up and down with them ensures that you'll always have the pieces you need to do actions and threaten backfields without spending command points. Be'lakor gains a lot from this detachment as well, suddenly getting free dark packs anytime he shoots your fights. It makes him a much more threatening presence on the board, and having his updated abilities apply to Shadow Legion units means that he can effectively protect and buff cultists, possessed, and legionary units alike. A good starting point for this army is a unit of cultists, 2 units of Nurglings, and a unit or 2 of Fleshhounds. It's a cheap base to start with that covers your needs for primary and secondary objectives efficiently. That's the name of the game here. How can you build efficiently when you have access to great units from 2 different faction lists? You largely won't have a ton of synergy between Demons and Chaos Marines outside of Be'lakor, but you're not really going to need it either. Now let's go over the strengths and weaknesses. New units. The Chaos Space Marines you can add into your Demons army can really help solve the problem Demons have of getting cheap MSUs on the table. Cultists in particular are an amazing asset for Demons to have, and giving up Demon Princes just isn't that big a deal. God-specific upgrades. The rules you get for demons of each Chaos God range from good to amazing, and the added benefits for stratagems are likewise solid. The Khorne upgrades alone make this arguably the best place to run Mono God Khorne. Movement. You get a lot of great movement tech in this detachment. Between advance and charge on Khorne units, ignoring Overwatch on Slaanesh units, and multiple effects to pick your units back up and put them into reserves, you've got loads of extra movement in this army. Now unfortunately, this detachment has all the same shooting problems Demons have, and without access to Chaos Space Marine vehicles, it doesn't really solve that problem. You're gonna struggle with cracking transports with this army unless you go hard on demon shooting or you bring Chaos Knights. No epic heroes. While losing Demon Princes isn't that big a deal, losing the epic heroes is, and you're gonna miss at least a couple of them. Leaders. Not being able to take epic heroes and having a very limited selection of leader options for your Chaos Marines does limit your list building options. This detachment looks like loads of fun, and it's something Chaos players have been earnestly hoping for all edition. Sure, the Allies rules are fine, but having a true Demons and Chaos Marine combined detachment? That, my friends, is the good stuff. It helps that the rules for the detachment and the updated Demons datasheets are great, giving us a ton of exciting options to work with. If you're a Chaos Space Marines player who's Demon curious, or a Demons player looking for a good reason to branch out, consider this your invitation. If you want to see how we plan on running this detachment, head on over to goonhammer.com for a detachment focus article where we've got a sample army list. You can also support us on Patreon for an ad-free website experience, Discord access, and more. I've been First Prince McLastplace, disappearing back into the shadows. Thanks for watching.